All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Parasyte the Maxim, episode 11. And last episode was one of the calmest episodes I've ever seen. Nothing really happened. It was just mellow and chill the whole way through.
No big developments.
Nope, not
just
at all.
Regular slice of life with Shinichi and his good hand friend. I mean boyfriend.
No creepy government
Migi,
fads. Like it's just it's all
daijoubu.
Everything's daijoubu.
Yes.
So oh boy.
So we're looking forward to seeing how things this next episode will not be daijoubu because things have changed.
Just a little bit. Yep.
So without further ado, y'all, let's get into it. All right, everyone. Now make sure to go check out the link in the YouTube video's description to go watch the reaction portion, then come back here for the discussion. Yikes! This is getting intense. This is getting big.
Yeah.
This is
slightly problematic. We knew this day would come.
Right.
But oh boy,
we're in the grand. We're on the grand stage, if you will.
We live in a society.
See,
but the parasites are forming their own society. Within our society,
trying to influence our society by integrating.
Yeah, which
with ambition.
And on the one hand, that could potentially be good because it's showing that they're trying to integrate, right?
Yeah,
which is what we would need to have if they're going to peacefully resolve things.
Right.
The problem is that they're prepping for war.
Well, yeah, that's the thing that this is a problem is that. What they're probably thinking of doing, this is some big scale stuff here, but they're basically like, all right, we have a problem here. The humans are going to discover us, and then they're going to mobilize and unify.
And they outnumber us like crazy.
Yeah. So what do we need to do? We need to divide them and reduce their numbers dramatically. What's the best way to do that? War.
Sure.
So they just get into positions of power where they can influence enough things to start a war. And then humans World War III it, and we all get wiped out except for the parasites.
And the other thing they could do is once they get in charge of things and they have resources, it would not be difficult to basically get humans to start doing things that the parasites want them to do. Like, I don't know, trying to figure out how the parasites can, multiply, for instance.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So, I think that there's two sides to this. There's definitely the worst case scenario, which we just mentioned there.
Right.
There's also the best case scenario, and this is on a spectrum, obviously, where we get them to form a power base so that humans respect that they're able to run a portion of kind of human society in a way that is beneficial.
That is potentially self-sustaining, and then you can negotiate with the group, right, as opposed to what otherwise would have basically been guerrilla warfare. Right, because because that's the other way to think about it is that once it's a more or less centralized thing, then if you do end up going to war with them, it's in a way that you can be prepared for as opposed to just anyone else. Well, potentially more so in a different way than if it's just parasites on the streets killing people.
Yeah, but those are usually not the instances of where the parasites are looking to kill people. They're getting outed, and then they end up going crazy, and they kill people.
Well, you're right, because then they have to kill the person to,
maintain their survival. So this might be their exit the shadows strategy as well. It's not necessarily a bad thing for humanity, like you're saying. It could be something more in the middle, where they're like, all right, we live amongst you. There are a lot of us. Our organization is looking to protect them. And it is also looking for a way to establish negotiations through a diplomatic means that will be a logical, long-term, sustainable solution. Will you talk with us? And then they'll go to the world stage and all the main leaders of the nations will debate as to, how do we want to do this? How do you want to do this?
And the thing is that they could do that pretty easily if they... Because, one of the things that is kind of interesting here is that the government gave the public a way to identify parasites. Or they know that parasites can take on the form of anyone they so choose.
Right.
Which means that in case, in the beginning of this episode, if they're outed in a private place, then they just kill the person, take their identity, whatever, and there might not even be a trail of bodies necessarily,
for sure,
or it'll be much harder to follow.
Yeah.
But they could very easily communicate from the shadows as well, where they have one person take on a different identity, whatever, right? They talk to people. You have no idea who they're connected to, and then they basically say, hey, here's the situation, blah, blah, blah. You can have an ambassador for the parasites,
Right. Another way that this could be is that if you get into the political sphere, the people that you're shaking hands with are people that are your shape-shifting goals.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So it then ends up being a thing of mysterious disappearances at the museum. Like they were saying, they're not going for this at the bigger scale. We're going for this at the municipal, the local level, which I'm like, oh, that's genius.
Yeah.
It's genius.
Yeah.
They can easily win those elections just by doing it, because in a lot of ways, those elections get way less attention, maybe.
Sure. So, and since it's not like they need to actually ascend the political ladder, although that would be helpful to do that,
right?
So there is no trail. Mm-hmm. If they wanted to, they could, especially with a lot of them, because with only one, the trail is always it's always only one step of differentiation, right?
Right.
But if you have 8 parasites, you could have the trail of bodies be 8 removed,
right?
So that by the time they realize that the mayor the new mayor, right, has been killed, or whatever, that you're already in Congress. You're
at the equivalent of a national level politician. So there's some very interesting things that can happen here. We also don't know how mobilized this organization is in terms of numbers, but my guess is that they brought everyone that they could to this rally. So 8 people is probably more or less the extent of their organization thus far, which is a huge deal.
So ridiculous.
Which is a huge deal, but the idea is that if they're 8, they could potentially influence the numbers that are, 8 squared, just because they can actually, shapeshift and change form as they desire.
Right. Well, and also the idea that once there's 8 of them, the idea that Shinichi detects them, right? Mm-hmm. That could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing.
Right.
The way it could be a bad thing is pretty obvious. It's pretty straightforward, right? Yep. And the fact that Kana's there too will not help.
Yes, that's going to be a problem too.
But the thing is that if Shinichi was a regular old parasite,
right,
he could play it off potentially as being, oh, I'm just a regular parasite. What are you guys doing here? You guys are all grouped up. Right. It's really cool. Can I join you?
And that's maybe what they want. Is they want
because
to
then
give
they
other
have more
parasites
numbers.
Hey, this
is a place where you can go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because right now the parasites are operating on their own, right? And there are the exceptions, but even then it's very small scale.
And we already have someone called Boss here.
Right.
So what's probably going to be is that person has the vision, or they have remember how they were talking about how we don't know what our purpose is? The original Tamiya Ryoko.
Well, but they got the directive. It was to consume this species.
Was that the original directive though? Okay.
I mean, I might be wrong on the exact term vernacular of it.
Yeah, but I think it was more that once they did that, once they consumed their brain, was it then a continual consume the species then?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because what I think it might end up being a thing of here is that this new antagonist, parasite, what have you, is basically trying to send out his new directive for all that will listen.
Potentially,
and then basically be like, I have, been given kind of a vision of what, how we can change the world.
Well, and one way to potentially think about this is that given that the meat of these kind of topics is that it's not clear what to do, right?
Right.
The idea is that it puts you in a tough situation, right? Where you want to save human lives and all that stuff, but then there's parasites, and how do you do that? Can you coexist? All that. And I feel like in order to best play off of that conundrum is that you don't want to have a fully happy ending, and you don't want to have a fully bad ending, right? Because I'm not
even at the ending yet,
right,
but going more towards the immediate stuff happening right now.
Yeah, but just the idea with parasites potentially integrating,
Well, hold on. Let's go with the immediate stuff and go less for future stuff. Okay. The parasites are integrating.
Right. And from what we've seen, they're going to do it well. And from what we've seen, it is for the purpose of what their purpose has always been, of defeating the humans, basically.
Yeah, it gives them a strategic advantage in this venue.
Yep.
If they have positions of power within the human society, they essentially get safe bases of operation.
They get protected by humans.
Yeah. Humans end up becoming their allies in their own destruction. Which, if we think about the natural end for this whole thing, then maybe we could go into the predictions there. I just feel like it's interesting that we have gone through such a core story structure focus shift by having this this random parasite be like, yeah, why are you wearing a tank top? Like, couldn't you make it any less obvious or whatever? He's like, well, it's all going to get soiled anyway.
Right.
He just comes in and tears apart a Yakuza group because he's wanting to run an experiment as to how many body hits he'll take before he's accomplished his, objective.
Goal. Yep.
Oh, what? What?
Yeah. That's a little bit concerning.
That's what we have to deal with one of them.
And they're going into politics.
Yeah.
This is bad.
This is really
very bad.
This is really bad. And they're doing a lot of relationship stuff, though. Let's focus back a little bit more on the humans. Marano might be the only human one amongst them.
Yeah.
But they're doing a lot of relationship drama stuff.
Well, and they're maintaining the idea of Shinichi being different and that causing trouble, and Marano kind of adjusting to it a bit, but at the same time not.
She's totally aware.
But she's totally aware, and she's not fully okay with it. It concerns her, but she's, much like the events of the previous episode, she's kind of come to accept it because she has to, kind of. Like she doesn't really see any other alternative, because she's not actually thinking like that he's, that he's just some crazy monster or whatever, but he's different.
But he's not the Shinichi that she grew up with.
Right.
He's different.
Yeah.
And it's dramatic change. And she knows kind of when the change happened for the most part. Because she was close to him. They were good friends.
I love the conversations with Migi this episode.
Yes.
Of him being like, Migi, like he's thinking, and he's like, I kind of want to tell her everything because she's
don't do that.
A lot, and he's like, I know what you're thinking, don't do it. And then later he's talking to her, and he's saying way too much.
Yeah.
And granted, he's trying to look out for her and all that stuff, and then Migi just like.
Buddy, we need to talk.
We need to talk. Like that. Like it feels like an old married couple kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, now, honey, you know that I don't appreciate it when you leave your clothes on the floor.
Or, honey, I saw you talking to that waitress that way. It's like, what are you talking about? You're leading her on. It's like, no, of course not. The way you were talking, how you were all you're saying. Why are you?
I don't want you talking to that girl anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Basically that. And then the whole thing of I have no he's like, it makes zero sense why you're trying so hard to talk to this girl now. And he's like, well, she said it was her last favor she'd ever ask, so I have to. That is incomprehensible.
Yeah.
Like, the idea that Migi is doing everything he can to, stop short of insulting the intelligence of him, but just being like, that makes no sense to me.
Well,
no
and
sense
from one perspective, it's like, hey, if there's a way to basically get the girl to just leave you alone forever, then maybe that's worth the one more interaction. Yeah, get it over with, and then that way you don't need to make it weird on your part of avoiding her. Right.
Yeah.
She just avoids you, and there you go, win. But
and literally, I think that's what happened. I think Migi might have tried to basically
to
ping
send
her
out a ping so that she would see that.
Hey, get over here. Quick, just in time. Okay, she's this far away.
Yeah. And then he's like,
ping.
All right. Yeah. And then they kiss, and he's like, yes, she saw it. Awesome. Yeah. And then she still gives him the call.
Nice
he's like,
catch.
Yeah, right. And then she still calls Shinichi, and he's like, damn it.
He's like, this women, humans, all you stupid people. I don't understand it.
Can't deal with this.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
It's just great.
And then he has to deal also with Shinichi's idiocy. Right. It's like, why? I don't get it.
Well, and the thing is that if not for the stuff with the mayoral election or whatever, whatever that thing that was going on,
yeah,
it could theoretically go pretty well. granted, it's been completely derailed now, and it probably won't go well at all. But if not for that, it might have.
Because Shinichi has a -20 to stealth checks when he's up against other parasites.
Right, and there's the idea that now he's going to be concerned for her safety, so he's going to be acting weird again, and she'll probably be like, oh, wow, there's 8 other people over there that feel like you. You know, and he's going to be like, let's get away from there. It's like...
That is a good point. Maybe her reason for only being focused on Shinichi is because of her crush on him. That's how weak her ESP is, basically.
Sure,
the
and
extrasensory parasite.
Yeah, and for Shidio, it was just because he was really close.
Yes,
like he was really close.
Well, and he also was like radiating out his negative energy in terms of like he wasn't trying to hide.
Well, he wasn't at that point. Like,
well, I mean,
because he did that at a very specific point when Miggy was sleeping.
Oh, I'm not talking about the active part. I'm meaning the idea that everything he was doing at the school was really bad at blending in.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yep.
So.
Yeah. And the thing is that because she tried the whole hair thing, like, and it didn't do anything, that might have been part of the thing where she's like, oh, yeah, I guess it's just that I keep having these, very interesting dreams about him, you know, and that's what it is.
Hey, I mean the whole monster movies, you know, that whole genre of things.
Oh,
there's a reason for that being a popular thing.
He seems so ferocious now.
No, I'm serious. Like look it up. There's some very interesting stuff there. So
if there's furries, but this is with parasites. What would that be?
No. This don't even compare the two.
No.
I'm talking about the unknowable masculine type thing.
Tall, dark, and handsome.
Well, no, that has this dark side to them.
Yes.
That supposedly the damsel
she recognizes the alpha pheromones.
The beast. It's Beauty and the Beast.
Sure.
Yeah, but Beauty and the Beast is like a simplified Disney version of that, where it's more talking about the society as a whole rather than the monster.
Okay, hold on. Beauty and the Beast is about falling in love in spite of that.
Well, no, I know, but there's also the society story that it's talking about as well.
Yes.
How she defies basically the...
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. The expectations and all that.
But this is totally like basically like the werewolf fantasy of the they're the alpha. Yes.
No, I know. That's what I'm talking about. It's what Ancient Magus Bride was as well.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that this is something that is for whatever reason it is, because I'm not going to claim I know exactly what the reason is. There is a psychological thing for this.
I love that one of the things that basically in some ways is Shinichi's best defense is that she's having these horny dreams, right? Because it makes her question herself of like, I'm just really horny right now. Like I just think he's really hot.
And like tons of people just have that happen.
Right.
That's realistic.
Because it's natural that when you are so taken with somebody that your attention tends to dwell on them. Right?
Absolutely.
That's normal. So in this situation where she has an actual thing that's happening that's causing her to be more aware of Shinichi, but at the same time she's having those dreams, she's like, I mean, it's probably like...
Right. She must feel like the universe itself is trying to pull the two of them together. She's like, it's fate. I can't help that I like you.
She just wakes up in the morning and she's just like, I didn't know I was that taken with the guy.
Like, you know, guys have morning wood, and she's got like lady boner popping like hard, just
but
wow.
Here's the other thing. As much as those dreams may have just been her, you know, part of her fantasies, right?
Extrasensory parasite.
Sure. There's also the idea that she was seeing actual parasite forms in the dream, and Shinichi was doing parasite things in the dream, and she has not actually seen any parasites doing parasite stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of
telling.
That's kind of interesting.
So what version of a parasite do you think she could have?
Oh my god. Oh no, that would be no.
Like what kind of, like, if a parasite got her but it didn't get her brain, basically. Don't even. No. Don't even. No, I'm meaning like if it was like a microscopic piece. Say that Parasite like died on reentry, but a little sliver of it.
Right, that's what I get the feeling it is. Is it something similar to Shinichi and Migi replacing his heart and putting little bits of him into the bloodstream? Is that basically it's a much more toned down version of that?
Right.
And, you know,
she can't communicate with it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know...
it's just sending signals out.
Right. She accidentally snorted dead skin cells or something like that from somebody. Like, you know, like something where some trace amount, you know, that's enough to be something that doesn't happen normally.
Right.
But small enough that it would be imperceptible, right?
Sure.
And that's how it happened. Because I don't see it being something where there could actually be a full parasite that like only got like a specific part of her body. Like that wouldn't make sense because then the parasite would establish contact and things like that, like normal.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a whole thing that now we have to spend extra time on to get focus for because the story is moving away from the school and she doesn't go to their school. So, c'est la vie.
Right.
The developments of the politics, we talked about that. Are we going to talk about potentially well, I guess they didn't really show his dad, but more or less we kind of not really seen his home life at all recently. Shinichi's?
Yeah, not really.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Almost like it doesn't matter.
Possibly. Marano, we talked about her.
Now, there was something that... was there something that Shinichi seemed to notice... Oh, no, yeah, no, that was just the mayors and stuff.
The parasite that switched his form after he tore the crap out of the Yakuza. The form that he took was a person in the OP. And so there's a part where it shows Shinichi like looking at us basically, and there's a person. It's like dark on one side and light on the other side, and on the left side, I guess for us, it's it shows basically that guy. Okay. And he has this kind of like parasite cold kind of eyes narrowed kind of look of just like, you know. And what I've been kind of thinking about in terms of the whole story is we had characters like Tamiya Ryoko, you know, we had characters like Shirio, but we haven't had actually a
long-term antagonist.
Like a long-term antagonist, yeah. Yeah. So I'm thinking that this will be more of one of the things of where the antagonist will be one that's not a Shinichi antagonist, but a Migi antagonist, in that it's someone who basically is beyond Migi in terms of intelligence, tactics, critical thinking, logic, forward thinking as well, and is able to basically divide even Shinichi and Migi a little bit from each other by enticing all the parasites out there with maybe like here would be something kind of crazy. You know, the whole idea of that bus they were on or what have you, and the fact that they were doing politics, you know, messages and stuff like that. It's like, okay, that's cool. Wait a minute. What if there's a double thing with this here and they're just trying to attract parasites? Basically to be like, come join us. And there's like a hidden message on the van that like only the parasites would notice.
Well, I mean, I would...
Or basically the message is just that they're there.
Well, and that's why I think it could be very... Because, okay, if it comes to the point where suddenly they're just trying to kill Shinichi automatically, and that's what it is...
Yeah, I don't think that's the case.
I don't think that'll be the case either, because one, it would blow their cover, which they don't want to do. And, I mean, they could always take another form or whatever.
And they're probably trying to grow their organization.
Their organization. And the idea of a parasite noticing them shouldn't be anything that they're particularly worried about.
No, in fact, that's probably what they want.
Right. Now, once they figure out that Migi hasn't taken the brain, then it gets a bit more complicated.
Right.
But again, maybe because of their position and things like that, they could theoretically be like, hey, you know, and again, yeah, like you're saying, you know, more of an interaction with Migi being like, hey, this could be a good place. You know.
Oh, wait.
What?
I think the thing that's so dangerous about Migi and Shinichi and their relationship or what have you is that they're both going to change the other person, right?
Right.
But what if this happened again, and one of these people here is someone that also had the same situation, where it's a person and a parasite, you know, together?
All right.
And they basically are a kind of person where they're like, yes, I gladly accept whatever your plan is for humanity. I will work with you. Sure. Like someone that has a cold, sociopathic, like no care at all for humanity already. They didn't really need to change that much. But actually, if anything, they made the parasite stronger, or even in some ways even more deadly and terrifying by having these like Machiavellian strategies or what have you. Something that goes beyond just the, I don't know, this whole thing there. So they're able to accelerate, and they're further ahead in development or evolution than even Shinichi is.
Potentially, although one thing to keep in mind would be that any parasite that has not taken the brain, or at least the head, would not be able to change their appearance. Because from what we've seen so far, it's not actually that they change their whole body. It's that they change the head.
Right. So that's a good point then. If there's any of them that can't change their appearance, because so far only one of them has changed appearances, and that's
that we've seen.
That was the Yakuza killer.
Right.
Then I'll keep my eye open for that. Then.
I'm kind of curious to see though if Tamiya Ryoko ends up getting mixed up with them. So that could be interesting.
I feel like she was dropped into the story early to be relevant somewhere later, way later in the future.
Especially considering that they had one of her minions be a problem, or multiple times they had her minions be a problem, actually.
Yeah.
That didn't lead back to being, like, her being a problem directly, you know? But, yeah.
Yeah, I want time skips where we get to see her kid.
Yeah, because I feel like she would actually join up with them. And she would make
politicians.
Yeah, with the politicians, and she would make a pretty good addition, right? Because she's got a good head on her shoulders.
Ha 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 ha! That was so good.
But like her interests are probably more or less aligned with them, you know.
She's also really smart, and Miggy admitted that, and that she's somehow special. She had more acumen with the whole process, or what have you.
And if they wanted to have there be the potential for dissension within the ranks, or multiple objectives within the ranks of the parasites, she would be a great way to do it.
Sure.
Because she knows about Shinichi, for instance, and what's going on with there, assuming Shidio reported back faithfully and whatnot. So, yeah.
Okay.
Great episode, though.
Yeah. We had the government moving in the last episode. Now we have the
government
being moved into.
Right.
So,
yeah.
All right. I love how fast-paced this anime can get with, like, episode transitions. So, they have a lot of story they want to tell. I want to see more of it. But if you want to see more of it right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us about these stories, about anime in general. You can also talk with the community there. You can also get involved with the events they have going on right now. You can also talk with Jacob about his book.
Yes. My sci-fi novel, Battle Lines, is still available for order on Amazon. The link is in the description below, so go check it out.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.